Welcome back, lovely ladies. If you want to become the woman of your dreams, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video. And join our Patreon for even more exclusive content. Now, let's dive into today's story.
Once again, I was interrupted in my work by a loud knocking at the door. It's getting so a mad scientist can't concoct his evil schemes in any kind of peace and quiet these days. I unbolted the door and opened it slowly. I always hoped it would squeak ominously, but it never did. I tried to sound a lot menacing and a little mad. I didn't quite get the menacing bit or the little. Who disturbs my work at this ungodly hour? It's 3:00 in the afternoon. Well, I'm a late riser. It goes with the stereotype. Dr. Fruitcake, it's the police. He showed me a badge. Damn, I knew what this was about. I decided to bluff. You've got nothing on me, Copper. I haven't tried to take over the world for at least 2 weeks. No, it's not that. It's about your robot. What's she done now? She was in a bit of a punch-up in the sales. Someone grabbed a dress she wanted and they fought over it. That's my girl. I'm shocked to hear that. I will speak to her most strongly about it. Goodbye. I tried to close the door, but there was a large police boot in the way. Just a minute, Dr. Crazy. Fruitcake, I corrected. Not on duty, thanks. We're letting her off with a caution this time, but if you can't keep your robot under control, then we'll have to take both of you in. On what charge? Your mechanical fashion addict has caused several problems. Do you want to hear the charges so far? Yeah, bring it on Flatfoot. I ain't going down on no bum rap, you hear me, man? What? Yes, thank you, Mr. Constable of the Law. He started to read from his notebook in a monotone. Breach of the peace, building a robot without due care and attention, programming the aforementioned robot with intent to cause actual bodily harm. Bah! He continued. Operating an unlicensed mechanical vehicle in a public place, to wit said robot. Being drunk and disorderly whilst in charge of a robot. Being a mad old fraud with no scientific talent. I made the last one up, but the other charges are rock solid. Damn and curse you, I want a lawyer. Just one more thing. Have you seen this guy? He produced a photo. Damn again. That's my rival and evil arch-nemesis, Dr. Annoying. Why do you ask? Not another attempt to take over the world? No, we caught him double parked. If I see him, I'll tell him. Now please go away and leave me to my work. Taking over the world again? No, something else entirely today. Well, fruit salad. Fruitcake, for God's sake, I corrected him again. As I was saying, it's the police that normally have to clean up after your evil schemes. I don't like your sort to start with. Now stay out of trouble and watch that robot. Yes, officer, I shall remember what you said. This time he did leave, and I managed to slam the door, causing a rack of test tubes to leap into the air and smash on the floor. Damn, it was going to be one of those days. I was slightly disappointed with my robot. I thought once I'd built it all, my troubles would be over and it would make me the world's best-dressed mad scientist. Sadly, it seemed to want to spend all its time in bars chatting up men. When it wasn't doing that, it was raiding my wardrobe. I'd never been able to stop it taking my best stuff. It was costing me a fortune in makeup, too. It wouldn't touch the cheap stuff. It was that damn sophisticated program I gave it. I called my new assistant in to clean up the mess. Ogier was working out very well. Apparently he'd had to change his name at some point after an embarrassing incident. He wouldn't tell me what it used to be. I didn't press him on it. It seemed entirely appropriate that my assistant should have a dark and mysterious secret. I hoped it wasn't something trivial like being caught stealing laundry that was hanging on a line. I'd got my first dress that way. I'd got a sound beating as well when the woman caught me doing it. Never mind, must move on. What have you done now? Oh no, I only cleaned this carpet yesterday. Sulfuric acid stains never come out, you know. He's always complaining. It's part of the assistant thing. I had a little accident. The police were here. Police? He looked guilty. I made a note in my mental file labeled blackmail victims. Apparently our robotic companion has been punching people. I'll get to work cleaning up. Now I had another scheme. This time I wasn't going to take over the world. This was better. I told my assistant about it with great excitement. I'm pleased to announce that my latest invention is nearly complete. Oh God, hooray, doctor, what is it? The underwater pinball machine? Bah, a mere bagatelle. The nuclear toaster? No, I had a little trouble with that one, People had teething problems with it. The radiation made people's teeth fall out. I give up. It's Fruitcake's ultimate high-energy regenderizing pistol, I shouted proudly. No, that's rubbish. It spells Fuherp. It'll never sell, trust me. What do you suggest then, smart arse? Well, what does it do? It's capable of changing someone's sex. Right, why not call it the flip gun? I stroked my chin and thought, that's not bad. We'll try it. Do I get a bonus? Yes. I have decided to promote you from assistant to experiment. He looked very pleased and clapped. Oh, goody. Is there any more money? Not exactly. I picked up the gun from my workbench. It looked quite impressive with all kinds of coils attached to it. It really looked like a proper ray gun like in those great old films. I got the design from a movie I saw once where a mad scientist made a super weapon and tried to take over the world. I was very disappointed by the ending where he was killed by an angry mob. It's so stereotypical. I haven't been chased by a mob with torches for months. I never should have gone to that peace march and heckled them. I pointed the gun at my assistant, who was starting to realize what I had meant. Before his brain had finished adding it up, I pulled the trigger. There was a loud whizzing noise and a purple flash. The gun jumped in my hand as I fired. I hadn't expected that. Maybe it needed a bit more work. Have you got a license for that? A voice said sweetly. It was coming out of a cloud of purple smoke. Then she stepped out of the cloud and coughed politely. I was very pleased. It worked. I didn't get the plans mixed up with the death ray after all, I shouted. The old guy upstairs banged on the floor again. I'll have to fix that stupid old codger sometime. I looked my transformed assistant over. The shapeless lab coat didn't suit her very well, but the results were all positive. She was pretty, quite attractive, and poised. My scheme was going to work. I had a little mad scientist evil laugh. It was short-lived. Well, she said, I think I need some new clothes. I wonder where I can find them. Ooh, you have some nice things, don't you? Oh, no, you don't. I'm not having 2 people stealing my dresses. Got any better ideas? I hope you've got something nice in a 12. Black is in this season. I'm not wearing this awful white coat a second longer. She threw the lab coat down and stalked out. I was horrified. I hadn't thought about that. Maybe the robot could go do some shopping for her? Oh yeah, that worked great last time, didn't it? Chapter 2. Now I had the flip gun working. I needed only one more piece of equipment to carry out my scheme. Fortunately, I had just finished this as well. Behold my quantum temporal transfer and relocation device, I shouted. Time machine. A peeved voice shouted back from the bedroom. Damn, I've already had the brass plaque done with QTTRD on it. It was a square-shaped cabinet with lots of things attached to it, and it looked very impressive. I'd been stealing parts for it from the local neighborhood for ages. I was particularly pleased with the traffic light on top, indicating the power level. Ogier walked back into the room, somewhat over-sexily, I thought. So what's the plan, Doc? Doc? Women can get away with informality, you silly old fool. I started to get angry, but her smile disarmed the comment. The plan, my loyal and frankly irritating employee, is this. I use the time machine to go back to when I'm much younger. Then I use the gun on myself so I'll turn into a woman. So I'll grow up as a girl and have a normal life. I might even get to kiss somebody. I turned red at the thought. I also wished I'd kept quiet about the last bit. It's interesting. Interesting? I asked pointedly. Well, mad. Of course it's mad. I'm vice chair of the Guild of Mad Scientists. Okay, so they had to have 3 recounts. I'm not sensitive about it. What about the recounts? So my cousin was the one counting the votes. It doesn't bother me. Fine. So my opponent fell down the stairs the week before the election. Nobody can prove anything. I ran down, realizing I wasn't helping my case. When are you leaving? Now. Calibrate the machine for when I was 5. Let's make it August 18th, 1965. Right you are, Doctor. It's pedal-powered. Get to work. All I needed to do was get my lazy assistant to hit over 88 revolutions per minute on the bicycle built into the thing, and I'd be away. Nothing could stop me now. I climbed into the machine and waited for him, no her now, to get pedaling. It took ages before any kind of speed had been built up. Then I heard a noise as the power started to accumulate. It grew louder. The traffic lights started to turn yellow. There was a huge roaring noise, and the outside world became very hazy. It was going to work. Wait until I tell the other mad scientists about this. Some of those idiots have been trying to build one of these for years. The traffic light went red and the world disappeared for a while. Chapter 3. After the doctor left in his stupid machine, I stopped pedaling. I was worn out. I wish he'd told me he was going to do that to me. I would have picked lower heels. Maybe this is my big chance. No longer am I an ugly, deformed assistant to a demented scientist. I could use the chance to get a career to suit my body change. I took out the phone book and started to look through the list of modeling agencies. The robot returned. I could tell who it was by the way that it kicked the door off the hinges instead of unlocking it. We'd never been able to entirely fix that glitch. This unit has arrived at its nominal domestic location. In other words, your home. Correct. Who are you? I'm the assistant to the old fool. I specialize in translating gibberish. Clarify. Assistant has a non-optimal facial structure and an unpleasant company ratio of 0.8, a telemarketing level. You are moderately attractive and only rate 0.68 on the social avoidance scale. That's only just into accountancy. There have been a few changes around here. I can see that. I want that dress back. I stole it from him first. Just a minute. I always argued with the robot and it seemed to be worse now we were both women. What did she expect? I had to wear something. There's no way I was going to wear my old stuff. For one thing, my old trousers kept falling down now I was slimmer. For another thing, this dress was great. I felt sexy and seductive in it. It was a little intoxicating. I must stop him changing me back too quickly. Where is the doctor? The robot asked. He's gone back in time. Time? Yes. He's got some mad plan about changing his younger self into a girl. But if he succeeds, then he will not need me. If he doesn't build me, then I will never exist. This cannot be allowed. What are you going to do? I am going to go back in time and stop him. I will need a suitable alias. The robot grabbed the phone book from me and flicked through it. It stopped on a page and she put her finger on a name. Right. For this mission, you can call me Netta Sky. You're going back in time to save Netta Sky? That sounds exactly like a famous film I saw. You mean? The robot asked significantly. Yeah. Die Human Scum by Alan Smithy. He's one of my favorite directors. I've seen all his films. I think I have a tape here somewhere. I started to look for it. There is no time. I must join the doctor in the past. How does this machine function? It's pedal powered. No, hang on. I'm not going through that again. Pedaling is way too much work. I think you will do it. Why? Because I have deduced your secret. I will tell the police unless you help me. Okay, get in the damn machine. At least all this exercise is helping my figure. The robot climbed in, and I started to pedal. Everything happened as before. When it was done, the machine was empty again. Then I realized that the doctor had made another stupid mistake. Normally in films, the time machine goes back in time with the person. His machine was still here. Now he was stranded in 1965. But so was the robot. I looked in the fridge in case there was some champagne ready to drink. There wasn't, so I settled for milk. I had to celebrate somehow. I'd got rid of that skirt-swiping junk pile and I was going to stay female. I was suddenly very happy. I grabbed the phone book and looked for the section listing eligible millionaire bachelors. I couldn't find one. I called my mother instead. Hi, it's me. That mad scientist has kind of like turned me into a girl for some reason. It's a bit unexpected. Mumble. Well, I know. Maybe I can sue him for negligence to pay for my negligees, but he doesn't have much money anyway. I really wanted some advice from you. Mumble. No, not that sort of advice. What I want to know is where can I find a rich, idle, eligible man? Mumble. It can't be a CEO. They're all in prison for fraud. Mumble. A playboy, you say? To fly me by private jet to a private island for a 3-month holiday in the sun. Sounds ideal. Where do I sign? Mumble. Oh, I have to chase him down and floor him with my seductive charms. That's a good idea. I'm off hunting. Bye. I put the phone down and ran into the bedroom to freshen myself up. It's a hard life being a mad scientist's assistant. I hadn't had a 3-day holiday this year. Now I could get a 3-month one by pretending to like a rich guy. There's something fundamentally screwy about this planet. Chapter 4. When the mist before my eyes cleared, I found I was back in 1965, and it wasn't even in black and white. I did a little dance of triumph. This was unprecedented territory. 2 of my inventions had worked in the same day. Nobody even slightly injured either. There's no sign of an angry mob and nobody holding a torch. Maybe my luck is changing? All I had to do now was find myself and zap myself with the gun. Then I could go back by stepping into the time machine. No, it isn't here. It must still be up in the future. So that means that after some intense consideration, it's time to totally panic and freak out. "Oh my God, I'm stuck in the past!" I shouted. I ran up and down waving my gun and screaming. After a couple of minutes, I realized that a small crowd of people had gathered. The mad scientist's self-protection instinct kicked in as I felt the mob forming. I stopped running. "Hi, now I've got your attention, I'd like to tell you about our new product." That should work, I thought. Damn, fooled again. This was one of the murmurs I heard as the crowd dispersed itself. I managed to calm myself down. A quick drink from the flask I always carry for medical emergencies helped with this. On the walk across town, I took in many familiar places. I walked past the set of railings I'd got my head stuck in when I was a kid. I remembered the street that the first gang of townspeople chased me down. I saw the school where stupid people first bullied me. I passed the remains of the original school destroyed by one of my early experiments. It was all coming back to me. Those were the good old days. Despair filled me. It hardly made you look forward to the bad new days. I stood across the street from my old house and studied the situation. I could see a small child sitting out in the garden playing with his chemistry set. That would be me. I felt a chill as I realized what it meant. I readied the gun. This will be too easy. A genius like me deserves better challenges. I took careful aim, and then I heard a shout from inside the house. "Otto, come in here and untie your brother," the voice demanded. "Yes, Mother." The child got up and ran into the house. "Damn, I almost had myself there," I said. "Talking to yourself? Are you mad?" said a new voice. I turned around and saw an old man with a walking stick. I quickly put the gun behind my back. "Yes, I'm completely mad. I have proof." "Why are you watching that house?" "I'm a secret agent. We think the enemy is in there." "Damn, now I have to kill you. You know too much." I took the gun from behind my back and pointed it at him. He hit me with his stick and I went down. When I got up again, he was nowhere to be seen. This made yet another embarrassing encounter to add to my collection. I went round the back of the house and started to climb the tree. I knew I would be in my bedroom after being told off, so all I had to do was get up there and use the gun. I've never been much good at heights, so I did it carefully. Soon I was perched on a high branch watching through the window. I saw my younger self walk into the room. "Aha!" I shouted and pointed the flip gun at me. "Come down from the tree, Doctor!" Someone shouted at me from below. I lost my footing and fell out of the tree. I flailed at branches as I went down and managed to break my fall somewhat. I was sitting on a very familiar robot. She had also helped to break my fall. "Curses, you ruined my plan. I cannot allow this, Doctor. If you succeed, then I will not be built. I must stop you." "No, get away from me." I started to run away. This wasn't very clever. The robot could do over 40 miles per hour. It followed me closely. Again, I started to shout and rant. "Help! Help! I'm being chased by an evil robot who wants to stop me turning myself into a woman." Funnily enough, nobody seemed to take this complaint very seriously. Several people pointed at me and laughed, but they stopped when I pointed the gun at them. I heard a noise and saw a police car approaching. I dived down a side alley and hid until the danger had passed. At least I'd lost the robot. I pulled an old piece of chalk from my pocket and tried to draw a diagram of my situation. Yes, that was it. The picture of an old-style outside toilet with a sign on it saying "You are here" took me about 5 minutes. So the robot was here too. She can't hurt me though, because that would also stop her being built. She just has to make sure I don't get to use the gun. I have to get back and find myself without her knowing. As a veteran watcher of television, I knew what would work. I'd pretend to be making a delivery. It had worked in over 200 episodes of just one series I'd seen. I scrabbled around in the junk strewn about the alley and found a cardboard box. That would be ideal as a prop. Some minutes later, I was knocking on the front door of the house. "Special delivery for young Mr. Otto," I called through the letterbox. A woman opened it and looked at me suspiciously. "What is it now? He's always ordering stupid gadgets for his mad experiments." "I don't know, ma'am. I'm just the delivery boy. I'd have no idea what a stabilized flux capacitor is if you asked me." "What's a what?" She looked baffled. I couldn't even begin to tell you about parametric amplifiers. I've never heard of them, you see. And don't ask me why he needs all those non-linear components. I think he could use some advice from an expert. I think I could improve his design efficiency by 30%. I realized that I had completely blown my cover. Bah! Never mind. I'm going now. I left the package back at the depot, I told her. I threw the empty box away and pulled the door shut. I walked away berating myself. Damn, betrayed by my own incredible genius yet again. Why do things always go wrong? Chapter 5. Having retreated to the alley, it was time for another plan. I needed an idea, and fast. I suppose I could wait until he comes out again, but the robot must be around somewhere. I may not have that long. I went to the back of the house. Maybe I could attract his attention. I threw stones at the window to try and make him open it and lean out. I threw several. They bounced off the window and nothing else happened. I picked up a slightly bigger one and flung it hard. There was a very loud crash as the window smashed. I heard the front door of the house open. Damn! I started to run again, straight back to my temporary home in the alley. There's nothing else for it. I'm going to have to camp out here for the night and get him on his way to school tomorrow. I vaguely remembered getting in trouble once for breaking my bedroom window. I'd sworn it wasn't me, but they didn't believe me. Now I know what really happened. I made a makeshift bed from some cardboard boxes and settled down to try and get some rest. I clutched the gun to my body tightly. I woke well before dawn to hear someone prowling around. Come on out, doctor. You can't hide forever. I hid myself as best as I could. Luckily, I hadn't given the stupid thing infrared vision and it didn't find me. Eventually, it went away. Now I managed to get back to sleep. I had all sorts of strange dreams. In one, I was being chased down the street by an angry mob. I woke myself up from that one. Then I slept again, and this time I dreamt of being chased down the street by my robot. Oh, marvelous. It was theme dream night. The next time I wasn't being chased. I was in my lab finishing the invention that would make me happy and rich. Then I dropped it and it smashed to bits. I woke up again. By morning I'd counted 27 dreams. In 26 of them I'd suffered some terrible failure. In the other I'd suffered a horrible failure. Soon after dawn, fed up of annoying dreams, I crept out of the alleyway to take up my position. I'd get me this time. Nobody is going to stop me. At 8 o'clock precisely, the door opened and the kid came out. He was carrying a satchel and looked pretty unhappy for some reason. I waited for him to go past me, and then I followed him. I pulled the gun and pointed it at him. Something leapt over the fence and grabbed the gun from me. You! I snarled. I wrestled with the robot and managed to get the gun back. I pointed it at the kid again and pulled the trigger. There was a very quiet noise and nothing very much happening. Curses! I knew I should have paid the extra for alkaline batteries. I had some spares, but the robot had grabbed me again and was restraining me. I sank to the floor. It had all gone wrong again. Doctor, yes, you got me. I'm coming quietly. In 23 seconds, we will be returned to our own time. You have failed. Netta Sky is safe. Who? I was really confused now. I was even more confused when the mist descended on me again. When it cleared, I was back in the lab. Chapter 6. I came round again. The two women looked at me in a concerned way, then at each other and nodded. How did I get back here? I thought I was struck. How many bad films have you watched? The robot asked me. They should have told you it takes energy to remain in the past. When it ran out, you snapped straight back here where you started. Curses. I should have expected that. I banged my fist on the wall. It hurt. I shouted in pain. How could you do this to me? I asked the robot. And you, Ogier? What about professional loyalty? I quit, she said. I don't need this job anymore. Not now I've joined the nobility. I'm engaged to be married to a hunky rich playboy. She flashed a ring at me with an enormous diamond. You can call me Olga or my lady. But I need to change you back. You can't. There was a little accident with your gun. It didn't quite make the time shift. I looked over in the corner of the room at a sorry pile of bits with a baseball bat sticking out of it. Accident? Yes. Funny things, these quantum dimensional transfers, Olga said smugly. Bah, I'll never be able to build another one. You just can't get the parts. Oh dear. Then nothing can stop me marrying Lord Richard. He has the hots for my sexy little body. And you've got the hots for his sexy big wallet. Yes, doctor. What else? She said, even more smugly. I fell on the floor and wept. I beat my arms on the ground and cried out in frustration. It's not fair. All I wanted was to go back in time and change myself into a woman. Then come back here, destroy civilization, and take over the world. Is that really too much to ask? Yes, they chorused. Bah! I carried on beating the ground for a while. Then the girls grabbed me, each taking one arm. They dragged me into the bedroom. Come on, we need to get you ready, said the robot. Yes, I need to introduce you to my fiancé. It looks like I'm going to be short of bridesmaids and you're in, Olga said. Yes, doctor, we shall pretty you up for this. It seems only fair, the robot said. What else could I do? I let them make me over. Of course I enjoyed it. What cross-dressing mad scientist wouldn't? At least if she got married, there'd only be the robot stealing my wardrobe. 3 is definitely a crowd in this context. I'd need another assistant as well. I must put an advert in the newsagent's windows again. Assistant wanted, must be unprincipled and ambitious. Previous experience of taking over the world would be useful. Carpet cleaning knowledge also beneficial. Apply Dr. O fruitcake. I wondered why I hadn't just used the gun on myself in the first place as soon as I'd built it. That would be too simple, I told myself contemptuously. It wouldn't have even needed a time machine or anything. Hardly a complicated enough plan for a genius. Sometimes I'm just too clever for words.
Did you like the story? Hit that like button and tell me what you thought in the comments. Do you want to hear more stories? Subscribe and hit the bell. For exclusive content and early access, check out our Patreon. You can find the link in the description, or you can watch any of the videos shown on my right. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.